Hi guys, it's me Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Paco, if you haven't met moi. But today we are going over my September TBR. So all the books I plan to read in September. So for September we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, possibly 11 or 12 books that I plan to read this month. So, main plans for the month. So I do have a couple of buddy reads. I have one buddy read, I think, in the month of September. I have my book club, the in-person book club I go to, and Princess's book club. Books I need to read, so that's 3 book clubs, plus the 3 books that are part of my 23 for 23 video, year-round challenge. And then the rest of the books are books that are going to be by Latin authors, because September 15th is the start of Latin Heritage Month, and I love a theme for a TBR. October already has something in the works you guys will see very soon. So September I am doing not all these, of course. We don't only read Latin books in Hispanic Heritage Month, Latin author books, because you should be reading it year round. Some of my that is something you should do, but like I said, I love the theme, and some of these books are books that have just come out, and books that I was like, ooh, I could read all these together so I can get a vibe, because I love a vibe. A bitch loves a vibe. So that's what we're doing. So let's start with my book club pick. So my book club pick for September for my Enchanted Forest book club, and you could join my book club in the Discord down below, is going to be The Muse Squad, Book 1, The Cassandra Curse by Chantal Avasado. This is a middle grade. So if you don't know, my book club is a fantasy-themed book club where the main focus is to read fantasy books by BIPOC authors, and I plan to do adult, young adult, middle grade, and comics. So each month we choose a different age group, just so we get a variety of books. So this book is by, like I said, Chantal Avasado. And it says, find the 3, break the curse, save the future. Camille Martinez Sylvia didn't mean to turn her best friend into a pop star. But when a simple pep talk leads to a miraculous result, Callie learns she is the newest muse of epic poetry. One of the 9 muses of Greek mythology tasked with protecting humanity's fate in secret. Whisked away to the Muse headquarters, she joins 3 recruits her age who call themselves the Muse Squad. Together, the junior muses are tasked with using their magics to inspire and empower. Not an easy feat when you're 11 and still figuring out the goddess within. Finding the goddess within. When the first assignment turns out to be Callie's especially nerdy classmate Maya Rivero, the squad comes to Miami to stay with Callie and her Cuban family. There they discover that Maya doesn't just need inspiration, she needs saving from the vicious sirens out to unleash a curse that will corrupt her destiny. As chaos ensues, the Muse Squad must be able to master their newfound powers in time to thwart the Cassandra curse. Or will it undo them all? And muses versus sirens, sign me up. Also, as a person who loves pink, I love this vibe. So I am very excited. It sounds like a very fun middle grade. Next book club book. The next 2 books are book club books that I do not have because one is not out, and the other one I just don't have yet. And that is She Who Became the Sun. This is for Princess's book club. I don't really know a lot about it. I do know that this is part of the book. It's not like a series or anything like that. What I'm about to say, because I think it has a sequel. But it was I think 2021 or 22 or 2020. 3 sapphic fantasy, the big 3 sapphic fantasy books. They're all coming out near each other a couple years ago, and I've read the other 2 in that trinity, and this is the 3rd one. They're all by different authors, of course, but all I know is that this has inspired by Asian mythology. I'm not sure mythology or culture, but I believe it has Mulan vibes, but I could be wrong. But that is She Becomes the Sun. The next book is House of Marionette. I could be wrong. The cover will be right here somewhere. By J.L. This is a Regency inspired book. Regency like meets fantasy inspired book. It is about a main character who has a secret magic that could keep her hidden, and she finds a society, and she has to compete in this contest so that she could kind of stay alive and stuff like that. Very excited to read this because I've read one other book by this author. I read her debut book and I really enjoyed it. I need to read the sequel to her debut book, but this is a whole new book. But very excited to get into that. So those are all the book club books. So the next two, I have two buddy reads. I lied. I have two buddy reads. So the first buddy read, is God's Grave by J. Kristoff. This is the sequel to Nevernight. Me and Princess from the Castle Library, so of course her channel will be linked down below, are buddy reading the Nevernight trilogy last month, or this month. We were supposed to buddy read Nevernight, and this is the sequel, God's Grave. So we are buddy reading God's Grave this month. And I'm very excited. If you don't know what Nevernight's about, it's about our main character, Mia Corvair. She has the power to control shadows. In the first book, she joins the school to become an assassin. That's all I'm really going to go over. It was an alright, enjoyable for book one. I had already read book one before, but that was a reread. I got only so far into this book when I was first reading it, and then I stopped. I don't know why, but I'm very excited to actually finish and continue on with this series. So there's that. So the next buddy read is a group read for me and Nell from Neil Diamond on YouTube. Her channel will be linked down below as well. Last month we read House of the Castilians. No, Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. We buddy read that, and then we had a whole live about it. And then during it, they're like, "What's the next book?" And I was like, "Okay." And we picked Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm very excited to read this because if you didn't know, this year is my year of R.F. Kuang. I read Babel last year, and then I knocked out the Poppy War this year, and so I'm very excited to get to Yellowface. So Yellowface is R.F. Kuang's first non-fantasy. This is a literary fiction book, and it is about our main character, June. And June has a best friend named Athena. They are both writers, but the only thing is Athena is a literary darling. And when Athena dies, was June the only person there? June sees this as a chance to take her unedited, unseen manuscript that is like her masterpiece and rewrite it as her. And the only thing and then also June is then kind of pretends to be Asian. And this is supposed to be a critique on the publishing industry and everything like that. It's supposed to be satirical. I'm very excited for it. I've heard nothing but great things about this. If you hear sounds, a little dog has entered the chat to be irritating. So he'll say hi to the camera real quick. Let's just go. What am I reading next? You don't know. Then why are you bothering me? Okay, so he'll be here. Because if he's not, he's going to make noises if he doesn't get his attention. So the next books we're going to go over are the 3 books for my 3-4-23 video challenge that I'm doing. So the first one I have here is The Iron Raven. This is by Julie Kakawa. And this is the next step. This is the start of her next trilogy in the Iron Fae series. The first trilogy followed Megan Chase. The second followed Ethan Chase. This, the Ironfall series is Evenfall. Don't know why I thought it was Ironfall. I know this book follows Puck. So we get Puck from Fae Folklore. If you guys know anything about Puck from like Midsummer Night Dream, that is the one and only Robin Goodfellow. He is a major character in the first trilogy. He's in the second trilogy, but this is his own story. I'm excited to read it. I love Julie Kakawa. Her Shadow of the Fox trilogy is like one of my top 5 trilogies out there right now, and I am very excited to read this. The next is another continuing series, and that is A Reaper at the Gate. Last month I read Torch Against the Night. Last year I read Ember in the Ashes for my book club. So it was the rest of the series are being read this year for my 23 for 23 video. But this is book 3, I believe. Yeah, book 3 in the quartets. There's one more after this. But this book follows Elias and Lila, who are both affected by the Empire of... What are they called? Is it just the Empire? well, yeah, they are both affected by the Empire. Lila, because she is a scholar, the people who are oppressed by the Empire, and Elias, because he is a member of the Masked in Training, taken from his home to be trained to be a brutal killer for the army and everything like that, and he fights against the system, and shit happens. They meet, and things happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but this is book 3. Book 2 was fun. Loved book 1. Very excited to continue with this series. Sabatir is a great writer. Oh, okay, the dog is gone. Okay, next book is the first book by an author I've been wanting to get to, and that is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. I chose this book this month because it is very, it's the start of fall season finally. I know some people say fall starts earlier, but I say it starts now, September. But, so fall vibes, I'm like, okay, I want a dark academia book. And I believe this is a dark academia. I know this takes place in college. But the Atlas Six, this was everywhere a couple years ago. And all I know is that it follows these kids who are in college. And I heard they're very pretentious. And they are trying to get into a society, I believe. And it sounds fun. I know Helen's read this and she liked it. So I'm very interested to see what I think of it. So Secrets, Betrayal, Seduction, Power, Welcome to the Alexandrian Society. So very excited to read the Atlas Six. Very excited to read Olivia Blake's books. I do have For My Enemy, and I'm excited to get to that when I eventually do. Okay, next are the books by Latina authors that I'm very excited to be reading. So we have one of my most anticipated reads of the year, Vampires del Norte by Isabella Cañas. She wrote The Hacienda, which was one of my favorite books last year, one of my top 10 at least, top 5, I don't know. Books of last year. This is her sophomore novel. So this follows 2 characters. It says, as the daughter of a rancher in 1840 Mexico, Nenia knows there's a thing or two about monsters. Her home has long been threatened by tensions with Anglo settlers from the north, but something more sinister links near the ranch at night, something that drains men of their blood and leaves them for dead. Something that once attacked Nenia 9 years ago. Believing Nenia dead, Nestor has been on the run from the grief ever since moving to ranch working with Escuros, but no amount of drink can dispel the night terrors of sharp teeth. No woman can erase his childhood sweetheart from his mind. When the United States invades Mexico in 1846, the two are brought abruptly together on the road to war. Nenia, as a curandera, a healer, striving to prove her worth to her father so that he does not marry her off to a stranger, and Nestor is a member of the auxiliary cavalry of ranchers and Vesperos. But the shock of the reunion and Nenia's rage at Nestor for seemingly abandoning her long ago is quickly overshadowed by the appearance of a nightmare made flesh. And unless Nenia and Nestor work through the past and face the future together, neither will survive to see the dawn. Very excited. Also, September, perfect vibe for vampires. Very excited for this. This is going to be my top read of the month, hopefully. Next is The Sun in the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz. This is her debut novel. I follow her on Patreon because she's an amazing artist. And so this book is about, I'll just read the description to you. 2 women embark on an unforgettable quest in this sweeping fantasy debut inspired by the history and folklore of South America. Reina is desperate. Stuck on the edge of society, Reina's only hope lies in an invitation from a grandmother she's never met. But the journey to her is dangerous, and a prayer can't always avert disaster. Attacked by creatures that stalk the mountain, Reina is on the verge of death until her grandmother, a dark sorceress, intervenes. Now dependent on the Donna's magic for her life, Reina will do anything to earn and keep her favor, even the bidding of an ancient god who whispers to her at night. Eva Casera is unwanted. Illegitimate and of mixed heritage, Eva is the family's shame. She tries to be the perfect daughter, but Eva is hiding a secret. Magic calls to her. Eva knows she should fight her temptation. Magic is the sign of the dark god, and using it is punishable by death. Yet it is hard to ignore the power of when it has always been denied you. Eva is walking a dangerous path. At the end, she'll become something she never imagined. I am very excited to read this. I love a epic fantasy about Latin American folklore and stuff like that. I am very excited to read this, Sun in the Void. This is also on my top 10 videos, top most anticipated books of the year. Okay, so the next book we have is The Flyer Lady by D.L. Storia. I did not know about this book existed until like a week before it came out. But this book is Cinderella, but if Cinderella went to the ball to scam the prince. And I'm very excited to read it. And then if I like this book, I do have another book by this author. I didn't know I had her YA book, which is under a different pen name. This is the pen name of the author when she writes adult, I guess, because she wrote Fire with Fire, and I do have that. So I'm hoping I like this so that I'll then go to Fire and Fire. But I love the idea of Cinderella going there to scam the prince, and then apparently she falls for something, like some shit happens. But like it says, happily ever after is a total scam, but at least this time the princess is controlling the grift. Till her true love arrives and threatens to ruin the whole scheme. Love that. We don't want books to fall. Okay, so the last two books I have are two graphic novels. Well, one graphic novel and one comic bind-up. But the first one is Season of the Bruja by Aaron Duran and Sarah Sorrell. So this book is, does it say right here what this is about? Oh, yeah, okay. From the time she was young, Athea's abuela Isadora taught her about their culture. There was music, there was food, there was history, and there was magic. Athulia comes from a long line of brujas tracing back to a time long before the conquistadors invaded Mexico. Along with her two companions, Dane, a were-coyote, and Juve, a chupacabra, Athea uses her abuela's training to help and protect others from all manners of spirits, demons, and hell beasts. However, the real enemy is very human and very near. Watching from afar, shrouded in holy cloth, Athelia encounters her most dangerous enemy yet in the form of a priest and his cardinal, who both seek one thing, the destruction of every bruja on earth. Very excited to read this. I mean, brujas, witches, here for it. Very excited to read this graphic novel. I am hoping to love this. The art looks great. I love this cover, too. And the last graphic novel or comic bind-up I have is Blue Beetle Graduation Day by Josh Trujillo. So this is about Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle movie just came out last month, and it was amazing. We love it. But this is his solo series, or I think it was a mini series, and this is the bind-up. So it says Jaime Reyes has a lot to juggle, whether it's his finals of senior year or a new villain face tearing up El Paso. Jaime is always split between two worlds, but when the world comes crashing together at high school graduation, nothing will ever be the same. A message from the Reach bombards Jaime's scarab, Kajida, and it starts throwing off his connection to the device. And if that was enough, Jaime's parents are sending him to live with his Diaz in Palmer City. But what's hidden here on Earth that draws the Reach back? Why are all these different colored beetles popping up and coming to kill him? Can Jaime find balance in his life and rise to be a true hero, or is it curtains call for Blue Beetle? Collecting issues 1 through 6 of Blue Beetle Graduation Day, written by Josh Trujillo. This volume contains design materials by artist Adrian Gutierrez, as well as sneak preview of upcoming Blue Beetle 1. Ooh, so does that mean that Blue Beetle is getting his own series after this by the same team? Or is it, oh no, it looks like it's about Ted Cord? I don't know. But I love that, because we love Jaime. Jaime is one of our my brother's favorite superhero. Like one of his top 5. And I am very excited to read it. I've listened to this author. He guested on the Cerebral podcast, which is a Marvel podcast. But I loved his energy. And I've seen stuff on Twitter about the series. Very excited to read it. And I mean, the art looks fantastic, too. So, very excited. It's got Starfire in it from the, images I've seen. So, love that for me. But I have wasted enough of your time. So what are you guys planning to read in September? Do you have any books you're really excited for? Like I said, Vampire Norte is I am fighting all of myself not to push everyone to the side physically to read Vampire Norte right now. But I have to get through the rest of this month and then knock out a lot of these have-to-reads first before I can get to Vampire Norte. It's physically hurting me. So, feel bad for me. Please. As I suffer these first made-up world problems that I'm making for myself. But, like I said, comment down below what are you guys going to read. If you want to join my book club, that will be in the link below. If you want to just follow Princess while she is still on BookTube, her channel will be linked down below for her book club, and so will Nell's BookTube shall be linked down below as well. But thank you guys for watching, and bye!